If a college gives you the chance to interview, should you take it? The short answer is yes. But in this video, I'm going to tell you why interviews matter, what colleges are looking for in these interviews, the difference between evaluative and informational interviews, and really the exact questions you're probably going to be asked. Hey there parents, families, and students. My name is Andrew Hoffman, and welcome back to my channel. I'm a former admissions officer at both Vanderbilt and Swarthmore, and I'm here to help you and families across America navigate the college admissions process. Now let's talk about the interview, one of the most misunderstood parts of the college admissions process. Let's dive in. So here's the deal. If interviews are offered, you absolutely should take them up on that offer. Period. Why? Well, first, some colleges do track this as demonstrated interest. If the college tracks this, and many do, they might wonder why you didn't do an interview. I've heard many admissions officers say things like they visited, they applied early action, but why didn't they interview? And when those students end up waitlisted or deferred, the interview might have made that difference. Obviously, you'll never know this, but why even chance it? Even for colleges that don't track demonstrated interest, it's a really great opportunity to interact with another community member, such as a current student, an alum, or an admissions officer. And the personal touch here really matters. So there really are just two types of interviews out there: evaluative and informational. Evaluative interviews is where your performance really is assessed. The interview, an alum, admissions officer, or current student is trained on what to ask you and then completes a rubric or a form and submits it as part of your application file. When I was director of admissions at Swarthmore, our interviews evaluated things like academic insights, personal qualities, and a big one for us, intellectual curiosity. And that last one can be a major factor at highly selective colleges, especially liberal arts colleges. And then there are informational or conversational interviews. These are more relaxed. It's more like a conversation. You're not being evaluated. This is part of the college's outreach effort to have a conversation with you, maybe to engage an alum. Colleges are thinking this might help tip the scales. If you have a really fantastic conversation with another community member, maybe instead of applying regular decision, you'll consider applying early decision. Another aspect of this is that if you interview in the fall and that alum now reaches out to you in the spring once you're admitted, you might remember that conversation. Finally, it's a tool by these colleges and universities to continue to engage their alumni. But even if you know that this interview is non-evaluative, you still want to bring your A game. You never know who's feeding information back to the admissions office, and if they do, you want that information to be positive. So I've mentioned this already, but who exactly will interview you? There are typically three kinds of interviews you'll encounter. Now, this doesn't include interviews for merit scholarship programs, honors programs, or any other special program. So I guess faculty members, for example, could interview you. But these are the three that I'm more familiar with. First are alumni, and this is the most common one. You'll often be matched with a local alum to set up a meeting. This is often on Zoom, especially post-COVID, but it could be in person as well. Here's a big safety tip: never ever agree to meet an alum at their home or a private location. Always insist either online or in a public location like a coffee shop. Alums are trained on this by virtually every college, but they still do it. Second is admission officers, and yes, these could be your admission officers that are actually reviewing your application. But don't stress, these are humans too. The experience should feel conversational and not like a test. And whether you're interviewed by an admissions officer or an alum, that typically does not matter, so don't read too much into that. And finally, current students. Some colleges use current students and train up their seniors to be interviewers. At Swarthmore, these were called admission fellows, and they're expected to conduct interviews just like an alum or an admissions officer would. I think this can be the very best experience for you because it's more of a peer-to-peer interaction. So what will the interviewer actually ask you? I get this question a lot, and I want to go through the very typical questions that you might get. First is academics. What is your favorite class and why? What do you want to major in or minor in and why? If you could change one thing about your high school or your school community, what would that be? And why? Obviously, I'm emphasizing and why because I don't want to just hear one or two word responses. Next is personal. How do you spend your time outside of the classroom? And don't just limit this to extracurricular activities and clubs. Think about all the ways that you spend your time. It might be in your church or your home or you're in your neighborhood. Your favorite club or activity, and what kind of hobbies do you like? And are you going to bring those to your campus community? And then that other section called intellectual curiosity. What have you read, watched, or listened to lately that has really made you think? What is your favorite book, article, or documentary, and why? And don't forget, they'll ask you if you have any questions, typically at the end of the interview. So think thoughtfully about maybe 2 to 3 questions and things that cannot be Googled. Instead, ask about their experience in college. what surprised them the most about that institution, and if they could change anything about their undergraduate experience, what would that be and why? Now let's talk about the interview deadline, or at least the deadline to set up the interview. A lot of students miss this part. Interview deadlines are typically before the application is actually due. Colleges need time to schedule interviews and have the alums or other person submit the write-ups so they can consider that in holistic review. So check the admissions website and check your email. I've heard plenty of students say, but I never got an invitation to interview, and lo and behold, it was in your inbox the entire time. And now let's talk about the more exceptional interviews, by invitation only. Some schools only interview a select group of applicants. This might include Ivy Plus colleges, and even then, they are not calling everyone to interview them. During the admission cycle, it might be in the heart of January, they might be reaching out to a select few students. This might be international students or students on sort of the cusp of admission. But don't celebrate or panic if you get a call or an email from an admissions officer about interviewing. It doesn't automatically mean acceptance or rejection in this case. Just be sure to regularly check your voicemail, check your email, and look out for some of these notifications during the winter and spring months. The other exceptional case is merit scholarship interviews. Sometimes these are group interviews, sometimes they're individualized interviews, but typically you're going to be invited to interview. They're not going to interview all applicants for merit scholarships. If you're being considered, you'll typically get a call or an email, but if you miss that window, you might miss that merit scholarship opportunity. So finally, here's what I want you to leave with in thinking about the college interview. It's not a trap, it's not a gotcha moment, it's an opportunity to bring your voice, your personality, and your curiosity into the admissions process. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be thoughtful, prepared, and genuine. And if you want to know exactly how to prep, or you want to participate in a mock interview, I offer one-on-one interview prep sessions. Just email me at the link below and inquire. Now, if this video helped, and I hope that it did, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so that you get alerted every time I post a new video. Good luck, and we'll see you in the next video.